Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews and to another What I'm Reading Right Now video. I don't know what week it is because I missed last week because I wasn't very well and I wasn't going to film another video today, but then I realised that Thursday's video was a sewing video, so I thought I'd better do something. I'm just going to bring the frame down slightly. So because I didn't post a video last week, I did post what I had read in that week on my Discord, but I will whiz through that very quickly. So you're getting 2 weeks worth of reading here, and then we'll talk about what I'm currently reading, what I'm going to be reading, and some new releases, but probably just for this week because it got complicated, okay? So I finished The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. This is the sequel to Six Crimson Cranes. I liked this. It kind of fell afoul of the typical YA duology problem of, did it really need to exist? I think if you are going to read this, I would recommend either revisiting or recapping Six Crimson Cranes first, not because you won't understand what's going on, but because I think the emotional payoff, you need to care about book one to care about book two, and I think if I jumped into book two cold, I would have been like, why do I care about this relationship? Because there's not much time being spent on it, you know? Then I finished my reread of She Who Became the Sun. I liked this well enough. I don't think I liked it as much as I liked it the first time I read it, which is a bummer, but it was still really, really good. I really liked the story. I'll be interested to see where the sequel goes, and I think when the sequel does come out, I will do another reread because it's just one of those books that has a lot of names, a lot of place names. You know me, doesn't always gel with the way I like to read, and I just found that I wasn't able to sink into the story in a way that I could the first time around. So maybe that's a timing thing, maybe that's just because I'd read it before, you know, that kind of thing. Maybe it's because I was ill. Who knows? Didn't love it as much as I did the first time. Then I finished my reread of Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman and my first read of In the Serpent's Wake. This has been calling to me from my TBR for many, many, many months. Since February. I really, really enjoyed these. I think, again, YA duology sequel. I think this is a duology. It could easily be a trilogy. It ends neatly enough. I really enjoyed Tess of the Road, though, on a reread. I thought it worked really well. This had really good elements to it. I think this is even less subtle in what it's trying to convey than Tess of the Road is. I felt like some of the things were a little bit on the nose, which is something that I've encountered in a couple of books recently, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy this, and I think if I read this as a teen when I wasn't necessarily as engaged with some of the issues, it might have prompted some conversations for me. So yes, liked them, really glad I own them, love them, will reread them in the future. Typical YA duology problems, but that's something I've kind of decided is a bit unavoidable because after that I read another YA duology. I've just realised it was 3 in a row. Wow. Mask of Shadows, Ruin of Stars by Lindsay Miller. These are a non-binary protagonist in book one enters a competition set of auditions to become one of the Queen's assassins. So the first book is you must complete a series of contests and at any moment you might be killed by one of the other contestants. And book two is sort of dealing with the fallout of book one and some of the things that are unresolved in book one. Book two, I could take or leave. I didn't really care about it. I think it loses a lot of the things that make book one really good, but book two has a lot more, I felt, believable queer elements. Book one, Sal is our main character, is very much on their own, and book two brings in the idea that maybe other people also exist, and I liked that. But yeah, I would say if you're going to read it, read book one, see how you feel. Take or leave book two. After that, I haven't really read very much. I've just been way too busy, but I did finish my reread or re-listen to Harrow the Ninth. I actually really liked this on a reread. I think this very much worked because it was audio for me and because I'd read Gideon so recently. I think that whole thing just really worked out for the best. I won't say it's my favourite. I still think it's more convoluted than it has any reason to be, and I think that I will need to do a reread before None of the Ninth. But I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. I thought this was going to be the, puns not intended, nail in the coffin for this series, but actually, dang it, it really got me. So make of that what you will. I'm in the middle of 4 things at the moment. I will talk about the one that I'm closest to finishing, which is The Fabric of Civilization, How Textiles Made the World by Virginia Postrel. I started this while I was doing my reading sprints on Saturday, and I have a couple more chapters to go. I have, in fact, only one. I have to read the Innovators chapter and the conclusion. Or afterward. I really enjoyed this. I think that the later chapters have been less solid, but the early chapters where it's talking about fibres and weaving and like the process that goes into making textiles has been really interesting. It's very factual, and I don't think it got into a lot of the exploitation of garment workers and textile workers in both the past and the present. I think there are other books that do that though. This is more about the way that textiles are so important and the way that that has impacted on the world as a whole, which I found very interesting. There's been some really cool stuff, like the idea that it would have taken longer to make the sails of a Viking ship than it would to make the ship. fascinating. So I very much enjoyed this. Non-fiction recommendations, I'm always here for them. Please give them to me. So yes, I'm going to hopefully finish that today. I am in the middle of 2 new releases. The first binding by R.R. Virdi I started last week at some point. It's very long and it's very dense, and I think I might be on this one for a little while, so bear with me. I'm going to try and push ahead with it, but I was reading for like 3 hours and got maybe 5% of the way through, and that's not like me at all. So I'm seeing how I go, but I like the style of it. We have this storyteller visiting a town and starting to tell stories. It has a little bit of a Name of the Wind feel to it at this point in the story, which I'm finding interesting, but I'm not totally sold on it just yet. I'm keeping going with it. And then I'm 26% of the way into The Darkening, which is another YA book. In this case, we have storms happening. I don't really know much about this yet. I haven't really got a sense of where it's going, but I am liking the writing well enough, apart from the fact that moss has been mentioned on every single page, and I feel like there is a problem because there aren't that many synonyms for moss, and so it's just mossy things and moss everywhere. But that might just be because we're in a place where there is a lot of moss at the beginning of the book. Also, just as an update, I've finally made it to 18% of the way through the Count of Monte Cristo audiobook. It's slow going, but I am enjoying it. I wouldn't say I'm recommending it to everyone. I suspect there are adaptations out there that won't take you hundreds of hours of listening to get through, but hey, I'm reading it and I'm having a good time. As an update, I've decided I'm not going to pick up This Poison Heart at the moment, not because I didn't love this book, but because I haven't heard great things about the sequel. I know some people have loved it, but the people I know who also loved This Poison Heart for the same reasons as me haven't loved the sequel, so I think what I'm going to do is wait and see until I can get a copy of that, and then I'll read that, because I'm not dashing out to buy that right now. So I want to finish those things. I really want to finish Circe. I don't think it's going to happen this week, but I kind of need it to, because it's the next overbooked video I need to film. We're making it work. We're seeing how we go. I also want to finish The Future of Another Timeline, which is another reread. That's the Annalee Newitz book. I am off work next week though, so I'm feeling like there's some catch-up time. Possibly, maybe I can just spend the whole week reading. Who knows? Animorphs 40 also needs to happen. That's a Sunday job. We'll see. New releases. I mentioned This Wicked Fate is out now. I haven't heard amazing things, but I know some people have really loved it. The Final Strife by Sarah El Arifi, I really enjoyed. I had a great time with it. Suspend belief just a little bit, just a fraction, especially around how blood works, but I had a good time with the overall story. Locklands by Robert Jackson Bennett, the third Founders book. I loved this. I thought it was a great conclusion. I will have a review video out next week for the whole series if you're interested in my thoughts on that. And This Vicious Grace by Emily Teed, I think. Tiede could be, but I think it's probably Theed or Teed. If you want kind of cliche silly YA, this is one I would go for. It was a really enjoyable experience because it is sort of a silly YA story, but there is evidence that Emily, last name, has really thought about how people of different identities might fit into the world, particularly around the fact that there is this core idea of a pairing. And in YA books of other kinds and in the past, it would very much be, that's a boy and a girl and they're always deeply in love. And there are other options in this world, and I really appreciated that. So it's like all the goodness of a cliched YA with some extra thought put in. I would read more books by this author. That's all I'm saying. I have oodles and oodles to do because I am 2 weeks behind on everything, but I'm having a very good time with what I am reading and what I am doing. I just need to finish some bits off. I think I'm stuck in that I just keep starting things and nothing's finishing phase of a reading slump. So we'll see. Might have to DNF some stuff, might have to soft DNF some things. It'll all be fine, I'm sure. What have you been up to? What have you been reading? Did you miss me? Of course you didn't. Life goes on. Let me know all of these things down in the comments below. If you haven't already, while you're commenting, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media. Come hang out on Discord, where we have a fun time talking about books. Nothing makes me feel more loved and appreciated than my patrons over on Patreon who support the channel, make videos like this possible, and get early access to things and bonus content. They will have my July TBR, it's just started pouring with rain. They will have my July TBR and my May wrap up in full there, so if you want to check those out, that's linked down below as well. Thank you so much to you for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. There's gonna be some bloopers now. Do I have my copy? I do not. No. Go to bed. Bed. She just keeps wandering over.
Luna. Come on, princess.